Gentlemen, usually when we think of beautiful swings, we think from the left-hand side, right? But Cliff, you're watching, coming up with your own list. What do you got?
You know, Lauren, I tried to keep it all left-handed.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, Ian, our producer, was like, look, you got to, sort of level it out.
Mix it up.
Mix it up a little bit. And I was like, you're right. So, Ronnie, I went with a couple guys. And when you're looking at the best swings in the sport, it starts to get difficult, right? Because you start looking at so many, looking at stats, looking at numbers, looking at guys that have figured it out.
That's right.
And Austin Riley just stands out to me because of what he's been through as far as just, getting to the Braves and then having to move when they acquired Donaldson. But the swing plays because the balance. I talked about last night. He's matured. He understands the strike zone. He stays behind the ball so well. You see the hands. It's very simple swing, very simple approach. But he's foul pole to foul pole, and he has a lot of power generated.
He really drops that knob down, and that comes through after it as good as maybe Pujols in his prime.
Yeah, you know what? And Ronnie, look, stop it right here. When you talk about subtle leg kicks, sometimes we have these big leg kicks, the ones that are dragging on. His is so subtle, the head stays so still that it allows him to get his hands in a great position to get that A swing off. And look where the hands go. You only can stay behind that ball until your point of bringing that knob through. It just stays level all the way through. You're covering so much of that plate that it's hard to get him out consistently.
And look at how he transfers that weight. That back foot comes off the ground, so everything, the lower half is providing power as well.
That's just beautiful.
Yep.
My second guy, Austin, you're doing the MVP run around the bags, but this is my guy, right? When you talk about left-handers and what you bring to the table every single night, I mean, the Crawford boxes in left field at home, and then he says, look, off lefty, I'm not trying to pull. It's a simple sort of a coil of the front leg, but this keeps him honest. This keeps him through the center of the field and allows him to stay on his backside a little bit more. But look at the head. I always talk about, stop it right there. The head is in a position where he's already recognized the pitch. Now we say, well, he's moving forward. Let it play a little bit. Let it roll through. You don't mind him sort of coming forward. He still stand on his backside. And that, to me, allows him, when you talk about the knob is important because look where his knob is right there.
I just think it's so interesting that in a world or in a game now where you hear a lot of hitters talking about, having a slight uppercut to get the ball in the air, or maybe pulling the ball a little more to get a little more power. Alvarez is just the opposite. He's a great hitter who's got power. So wherever the ball's pitched, he has power to all the fields, coast to coast.
Yeah, I just love how balanced. When you talk about balance, this is balance because when you keep it, he's sort of like a small man, a big body, right? He's so compact and easy breezy to the baseball that allows him to be free and the hands sort of just get through the zone nice and easy. Third guy, Ronnie, I don't know how much we can say about him. You see him, right? And I mean, the changes in his swings, the balance, the way he's gotten his hands away from his body. I always felt Gary Pettis, the third base coach now for the Houston Astros, told me, he said, look, you got to get your hands away from your body. You're tying yourself up. You're blocking yourself. And I always felt like Aaron was blocking himself just a little bit till this year.
Hitters always feel like they're vulnerable inside. So sometimes they get to a point where they try to cheat inside, and they're a lot faster than they think they are.
Right. And when you look at his balance, I think with his hands away from his body, he's recognizing pitches a lot more, and now you can't fool him with anything. Anything hanging, he's hitting out the ballpark. Anything where it's away from him or down out of the zone, he's letting it go, getting himself in great hitters counts. And the MVP numbers showing this year.
He pulls that right elbow into his rib cage as well as anybody in the game. And then the follow-through is that slight uppercut. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. You know what it is? It's very hard to see a man that big who's so athletic.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. He's so athletic. You're not going to fool him with anything. And he's finally gotten to the point. He's 31 years old. He understands, look, this is my box. This is my plate. You're at my disposal. Anything you throw in this zone right here is going to get absolutely destroyed. I don't care. That's bell high. And that is just a no-no.
The follow-through could be the symbol for video game baseball everywhere. Just have that. Have that follow-through right there. That's it.
Absolutely. and my final guy, I think this is my final guy. We'll get one more. We got Soto, but Luis Ariz.
Oh, wow.
Right? He's leading the league in hitting for a reason. Because when you look at compact, not a lot going on with the hands. but allowing himself to sort of, crunch in there and like keep it compact and jam himself. Yeah. Allow himself to let that ball. That's one thing I think a lot of hitters get away from, is allowing that ball to get so deep, to not to the point where your hands are slow through the zone, but you can still get your knob through and sort of jam yourself. Stop it right here. Sort of let that ball get so deep where you can kind of jam yourself, but still be able to be productive.
You see it in a lot of hitters now because of the shifts in the last 8 to 10 years. We're starting to see guys emerge like Ariz and McNeil and others that have the ability to hit the ball to all fields, and that's a big key. The other thing, when I watch him hit, is that I used to pitch against a guy named Paul Molitor, Hall of Famer, one of the best ever. He seemed to be able to wait on the ball that extra split second. He seems to be able to do that.
It's something, you know what, to me, I felt like the deeper the ball got, the better, without allowing myself to sort of jam myself, but get that A swing off. I think Ariz sort of gets that A swing off by allowing the ball to get deep and jam a little bit more. So I love where he's at, leading all the baseball in average. And then the last guy had to be on here, and he had to be last because he just turned down 440 and 440 million reasons.
Did you cry?
I let a tear out because I was just saying to myself, come on, man, 440 million large, I got to take that one. But I understand and I appreciate him for wanting to win and put himself in a different position. But the swing plays and him understanding why he's going to get his 440 million wherever he goes. I just love the balance at the plate. I love how he sits on his backside. And I've been talking about balance the whole time because I think the key to hitting is balance.
Yeah.
Understanding that if you have balance here, there's nothing in this strike zone that can get me off balance, right? If I stay the course and I look at this, I remember Mark DeRosa. He said, D-Rose said, how long is he going to be able to hit like this? And I said to myself, he can do like he can hit like this forever.
So certain body styles, body types, put you in a different position, and he almost is from the foot up. He's so strong in his lower body.
Right.
That's where a lot of the power comes from. What I love, what you showed before, is that of anyone in the game, his bat is in the zone longer than anyone. Just that sweeping action puts him in a great place to cover any pitch that's thrown.
Any pitch. And you know what? I want to go back a little bit right here. Go back to contact. And this is the special thing about his contact is, stop it right here. You see where his head is?
Yeah.
You see, when I talk about balance, this, to all you kids at home, this is balance. This is understanding that you don't know where that ball is going off the bat. To me, that ball could go left center. Yeah. It could go center field. It could go right field. Now let it roll. But he gets through the baseball by having to understand that I'm going to stay behind it. I'm going to stay on my legs. And when I come through, I've allowed myself to be free. And I love the fact that you made the point about the knob, because one of my hitting instructors back when I got to the league, and Tommy Harper with the Expos, talked about knob coming through and almost being in your back pocket. So when I talk about that running, let me show what that means. So if that knob comes through here, and I'm talking about being in my back, look what a barrel is.
That's right.
The barrel has no choice but to come through and be right where you need to be when you're talking about covering the whole plate. So, I mean, I woke up this morning and I was like, man, it's going to be easy. Let me just get my 5 dudes of the best swings. And I start erasing stuff. Ian was like, what are you doing? I got a show to produce in a second. But I finally got my 5 up there. I know I left some guys out. T.A., Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, but some good swings.
You know what you always learn from these shows of people and how they swing. So many different ways to do it.
So many.
So many beautiful ways to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.